We got a big new reset in Far Cry 6 with an amazing weapon that you want to get before it's too late. We got a new gear set for sale this week only too, and a best new bow. And there's a bug for another big new weapon you can buy. So a lot to go over. Of course, if you enjoy the Far Cry content here on the channel, then don't leave a like on the video to show your support. And let's go. Pablo Ghost won the first giveaway and now tweeted about it. And I extended my previous one for 2,300 Far Cry credits. So you can still participate via the link in the pinned comment. And of course, be sure you are a subscriber of the channel if you want a chance to win. And good luck. So maybe you already noticed the small new update for Far Cry 6. So these were just some bug fixes as we see on the official Ubisoft page. But they do note that the team is also continuing to work on the first title update, which includes new post-launch content, performance improvements and bug fixes. We will have more information coming your way soon. And looking at the post-launch roadmap, we only see the Insanity Season Pass DLC for November, next week on Tuesday. When I expect the update, it's already November, but I think the Season Pass content is likely coming later. Maybe they're gonna add some like weapons from Far Cry 3 or something to the game. So yeah, curious what the other like post-launch content is that they're talking about here. We know that the next like free crossover mission is in December, so that's gonna be a while. Maybe another spec up map or something else completely. I hope that they have some surprises as well. But yeah, let's for now look at the weekly reset that of course just happened. We can of course find Lola in one of our third-person home bases, and seems like Ubisoft is going to add a brand new gear set each week, at least for the time being. And this week you can buy the Dino Park Ranger set inspired by that Dino Theme Park special operation you can of course run, because we got the mascot on the chest and arms, and on the legs you see a dino too. And I'm gonna claim this as the JorRaptor set. Here, done. So this will be my go-to visual from now on. At least the chest gear looks really cool. But next to the visuals, it's not that exciting. Only if you maybe want to go out hunting. Although there are already alternatives for this in the game. The hat automatically tags nearby animals, so you see them around you. Which is the same as the Jungle Expedition hat from the Ultimate Edition. Or the Primal Mask that you can buy at the Hunter's Lodge. So if you already got one of those items, you can basically skip the hat if you don't like the design. When fighting animals, you get more animal defense because you're totally going to be grabbed at least once. Even more animal defense on the legs, which we also find on the Jungle Expedition legs, by the way. Now the boots perk is a new one, improves sprint speed in dry weather. So only when it's not raining, which sure is most of the time. But yeah, it's not something you can control. The game decides when it's going to rain. So why not use the parkour kicks, which you can just buy at a vendor, which improves the movement speed overall. So it doesn't matter which weather, and it's also movement speed and not only sprint speed. And we like tried it, and yeah, can you see the difference? Like this is with the new gear, and this is with the parkour kicks. It's basically the same. So these boots are really bad. I mean, you could even argue that the parkour kicks are even faster, so why bother? And the wrist gear gives you more animal meat, which also the same perk as on the Primal Bracers you can buy at the Hunter's Lodge. Of course, you have to buy the camp facility first to unlock the Hunter's Lodge. It gives you double the meat, which actually really nice if you go out hunting. So it's totally worth getting the perk via the Hunter's Lodge or via Lola. But yeah, overall, this set is totally a skip. Unless you, like me, like the look and are a fan of dinosaurs, then of course join the club. Or if you have enough moneda, the items are 400 a piece. The set will only stay for 1 week. Maybe it returns later, but we're not sure yet. And getting moneda is not that hard after finishing the main story. Overall though, I would focus on getting the weapons first. Before we touch on that awesome new sidearm, I want to quickly go over the Libertad custom RPD, which is bugged right now. You can buy it at Lola's shop, but then it doesn't appear in your arsenal, at least for me, for Dennis, and for people in our Discord. You do see that the skin appears for the RPD and the Hammer of the Gods in the menu. So the game says, okay, you bought it, but you cannot use it separately. I already reached out to Ubisoft for comments, so hopefully they fix it, because it has the same stats as the hammer, which we declared as the best Far Cry credits weapon in a previous video. So it will be amazing to get it when they fix it, because it's a powerhouse. I will keep you posted here on the channel and on my social media. I will leave a link to my Twitter in the pinned comments. Hopefully they fix it. They got a week, so Fingers crossed. And now let's move on to the highlight of the week, the 00 gun with the built-in suppressor, so you always have silenced shots, while the regular silencer you put on like other sidearms can of course overheat. Now, to be fair, you will be picking off enemies one by one with headshots anyways, so the chance that the silencer overheats on a pistol is like doesn't happen that often. You mostly want to get it though because it's just a completely unique weapon. Like, there's nothing like it in the game right now. And yeah, it kind of gives you the James Bond vibe, which is cool. But the fact that there's no sight available makes it less ideal at longer ranges. So I still think the other sidearms are like also a great option. You will see when comparing them to the 00 that the 00 like outclasses the Desert Eagle in almost every way except for damage. Now, it is an overclocked weapon, of course, like every weapon you buy at Lola. So you can improve the weapon damage by spending the resources. And then you see that the damage compared to the D50 is almost equal. So sure, better than the Deagle, but without a sight. And the P226 you get near the end of the game still has the higher fire rate and the larger magazine. But again, because the 00 is an overclock variant, you have the damage increase, and you can also choose the MK2 mods, which are of course better versions of the regular mods you find on the Desert Eagle and on the P226. So I think you can say like something for all the sidearms. Overall, just rocking the 00 for fun is more than worth it. It's 1000 moneda, and you can very easily get the 1000 moneda by just playing through the weekly insurgency. And if you're not aware, this opens up after finishing the main story of the game, and then you have to take over checkpoints and F&D bases in a region you maybe already cleared, and also new anti-air cannons appear. So totally do the objectives again this week for almost 3000 moneda in total if you clear everything and kill the leader at the end as well. And then this week we also finally get an interesting unique weapon as a reward from the insurgency, the La Vanguardia, and I hope I pronounced that right, the first 4-star bow and also a recurve bow with 2 mods instead of the one we find on the regular recurve bow. We got improved draw and holster speed, which is great, and movement speed while aiming, but it's mostly the blast ammo that steals the show here. Most unarmored enemies die from one hit, and even armored enemies take a surprising amount of damage from these arrows, so you can use this bow against them too. And of course, blast arrows are mostly great against vehicles. Yes, with the bow, you can easily blow up cars. Helicopters are harder to hit because they of course fly, but when you do hit them, you only need 3 shots. I do a 4th here just to finish the job, but yeah, it's very satisfying to take them out. And sure, you can use it against tanks as well, but using the EMPs for that is totally smarter anyways. So finally, a fun weapon to get from these weekly insurgencies. So you got 1 week to get it, next to of course the extra moneda, which is really nice. And there's one more gear item for sale at Lola for 500 moneda. It's from that same James Bond pack, and this one improves damage with silenced weapons. So on paper it's great with that 00 gun, but really the damage increase is not very noticeable, and overall damage increase in Farcry, overall kinda meh. Especially because you still headshot everyone in one shot anyways. So yeah, they totally look cool, but the perk is not really worth it. And you see me now use it in a special operation, and that's of course another way to get fast moneda by repeating those. And I'll share the location for one of the stashes for 400 moneda in my previous video, which I will link to in the video description. So totally of course subscribe for way more Far Cry content. A like on the video would really help me out. And you can check out my previous video on how to solo these special operations, so you can get unlimited moneda by clicking on the screen. For now, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.